leader, a lawyer, a father, and Zambia's 6th Republican president. But behind the presidential podium and power suits, Edgar Lungu was also something else, unexpectedly soulful. A man who could drop a song lyric mid-speech or break into dance in a moment of joy, leaving crowds both surprised and delighted. In a country where music is heartbeat and history, President Lungu used rhythm not just to entertain, but to connect. This is the story of a statesman whose love for music became a subtle language of unity, culture, and humanity. We sat down with gospel musician Kings Malembe to share his fond memories of former President Dr. Edgar Lungu.
So it is in his tenure where Artist Fund was created, and this tale tells you what kind of man he was concerning our industry. Personally, I knew him as a man who loved music so much, such that there was no function without music. There used to be times where I'm not even on the program, where others have said, no, there's too much of Kings Malembe. So, no. And you look at the program, and it doesn't see my name. I only see a message to say, Mr. Kings, I want you to play that song. And imagine I'm sleeping home. Yeah, and I'll start organizing my people. Within 40 minutes, I'm at State House singing. So, as a person who was called to sing to the heart of the president, that man lived in music. He lived inside music. He loved music, especially gospel. Him being a Christian, the way I knew him. Yeah. So our industry will miss a person. And personally, as a son of the house, it's very heartbreaking. We will only depend on God for the comfort. And we are saying it is well. Like I have said, the growth of the son is measured in the absence of the father. And when the father goes, what you do after as a son is to look after his legacy, his commitment to Christ. And I think that's what I learned and I'm carrying. That's a flag I'm carrying.
Faith was not just something Edgar Lungu spoke about. It was something he lived. Through challenges and triumphs, his belief in God remained his anchor. Those close to him often witnessed how deeply his Christian walk shaped his leadership, his decisions, and his personal connections. As one of those who saw the spiritual side up close, Kings Malembe ministered to the former president through his music many times. But President Lungu's faith wasn't only expressed in worship or through the public moments of prayer. It showed itself in something far greater, compassion. A deep personal compassion that quietly extended itself beyond policy and protocol. A kind of kindness that reached behind the scenes into the lives of ordinary people when it mattered the most. He didn't wear it like a badge. He didn't need the headlines. But to those who truly knew him, to those who had reason to call on him in desperate moments, his heart for people was unmistakable. Kings Malembe, who had long shared a spiritual connection with the president through music, would come to experience that heart firsthand in the middle of a personal storm.
Well, it used to be situations where all guys will sing, all of them, all the artists will sing. But when I go on the platform and I start singing in Iwelesa, his song, the song that he loved, that he related to it so much, the man will stand up. The man will stand up no matter what. Him will just grab the wife and say, this is my song. Yeah, I would be seated somewhere and I would just say, I want that song. So I remember one day we were at Nkwa's house, State House, and he was taking his whiskey. And he said, Kings, before you go, that casson. So I just said, Daddy, I came here to collect some money. I didn't come to sing. Kings, I don't have money here. They know I need money to go and buy equipment. How much is it? I said, no, I think I needed an equipment that was equivalent to 2 million. But I think he said, I've got something like a 500 in the house. I said, as long as I've started buying, I have no problem. And but before I also give you, sing me that song. And I sang that song. I was with a friend of mine, sing that song, and they said, okay, even before I also give you what you came to ask for, can we have a meal? And there he washed my hands. The Kings in Bikalero. So that humanity part of him is difficult to find. So that moment is very classic to me. It's very classic to me. Yeah. And also maybe in my personal life, even before you ask me, because of me being a musician, I don't know if it's because of the songs that I used to sing, I found myself in Ndola in the night, and my wife called me around 24 hours that our boy has stopped breathing. And I had no one to call. I called everybody, and no one picked the call. And I called the president direct. Kings Ninshi. This time, my son decided. And it was just after 20 minutes, ambulances were at my house picking the boy. I was in the Copperbelt. And it was taken to the hospital and being resuscitated. Eventually, later on, my boy was taken to India. His bills, my boy stayed in India almost a year, just for his condition. And so it is that.
It's easy to speak of legacy in terms of power, policies, or public speeches, but sometimes legacy is in the moments no one else sees, in the lives quietly touched, the emergencies answered without a fanfare, and the burdens lifted without expecting anything in return. For Kings Malembe, the song Niweleza will always echo with a deeper resonance, not just because it was President Lungu's favorite, but because through the president's quiet act of grace, he saw the very heart of God in action. For those who knew him, not just as a president, but as a man of faith, a father, a friend, his passing was more than a national headline. It was personal. It was painful. When news of Edgar Lungu's death broke on June 5th, 2025, it sent ripples through the country. But for Kings Malembe, it struck the heart in a way that words could hardly explain.
You see, it didn't catch me because 2 days before I was talking to Bachanda, and they were saying, no, he's planning to come back because he just came back from there. No, he's okay, he's planning actually to come back. And for me, so it didn't click. Say, death will appear. It will knock on our doors like that. It's in the evenings when I was in my bed, and now I came back to normalcy. It's even now that we are now trying to believe. I've come on the interview talking about him. Yeah, so this is when we are believing that it has happened. For me, this is when I'm still getting. People have called me, are you singing the song? What song should I sing? You know? Kutuwa mbenyimbo kumushifova kulila kumushikwa bati muntu ngafa kutambo kwa nani wa mutendeke, nani wale msoka, nani wale mwebefi. You understand? So kutuwa imbo lwimbo baku kaka palast. So you just reflect and wait on the Lord, and you depend on the comfort of the Holy Spirit. And I think that's the space I'm into. That's the space I'm into. It's very, 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 yeah.
Sometimes the silence says more than any song. Sometimes grief takes time because the loss is too real, too raw. And while Kings may not be ready to sing just yet, the bond he shared with President Lungu, the songs, the prayers, the private moments of care will forever remain a melody that lives in his heart. For another musician, Felix, his admiration for former President Lungu was beyond mere political campaign songs. He remembers him as a president for all Zambians.
So I knew President Edgar Lungu way back from the time that Mr. Sata introduced me to him. I worked with President Sata. I was the first musician to do political songs for PF. I remember that was 2003 when I just completed school. I had done a song which was translating the PF slogans, Chombo, and so on and so on. But that time he just had one MP, and the MP by then was Honorable Mpankata from Rupososh. Yeah, so that was the time that I joined Mr. Sata, and that was the time I came to know President Lungu as a lawyer. He was, representing Mr. Sata in a number of legal, in a number of legal activities. I shared moments with President Lungu, who later became my personal promoter for Ndangeni Nshira, of which I'm grateful. That time when it was very easy. It was very difficult. After I released Ndangeni Nshila, the time that I turned to the Lord, he became my full sponsor. Yeah, I appreciate so much. 2006, I did a song called Futuakana Falling Kodokweyafu. That I was very young. Yeah. So I worked closely with him. And I remember that was the time I was living in fear, and there are moments I could be picked up in the night to go and just hide. That time I worked with President Lungu very closely, and even after the death of President Michael Chulvasata, I worked with him. He is one of the leaders, I would say, that inspired me. Yeah, a number of President Lungu he was just unique in his own way. Yeah, he chose to be the servant of the people a long time ago, before it was even a political before it was even on in the political battles, in political fields. So that's how I know him. And to my mother, Mama Esther, I just want you to understand that God, the God that you believe in, the God that you worship, the God that changed your story, the God that lifted the same Edgar Lungu, is the same God who must be trusted even up to now. Yeah, we should not question too much and maybe point fingers. It's a time of unity. It's a time of encouraging one another. And my appeal to all the music industry is that you give President Lungu, even the time that he was in politics, a full support in terms of singing. A lot of you sang songs without even being asked. We did that out of love. Yeah, we have to move on, and as a nation, we also have to learn something from here. What are we learning? What is God speaking? So for me, I'm urging every concerned Zambian to really take this funeral as your own. Don't politicize it. Don't begin to think it's about. This is not about politics. It's about life and death. Yeah. So what we are learning also, we're also learning what we're able to see as the young people. My music career, I can't write a book without a chapter for Edgar Lungu. Yeah, I'm so grateful. He was one of the blocks that, was very visible in my career, my musical career, that made Felix to be where Felix is today. Yeah, so I'm grateful to God to have shared such time, even when we did Dununa Reverse with colleagues. There are a lot of people who did songs that time. Yeah. For me, I did it out of love. I did it out of, knowing to say, I'm doing this from deep down my heart. Yeah, I don't regret. I don't regret ever, working with President Lungu. Yeah. President Lungu sowed a seed he had sown a seed that, musicians were just coming for without even being told. He walked in the grace of music. We can't take that away from him. This is a president. This is a man that people went and sang for using their own resources, and this is a man that received, even after winning, losing, people continued singing. The time that he was in power, of course, we were, in the forefront to sing those songs. The 2016, the time that we did Dununa Reverse. Also, colleagues like Chester, Rich Bees, they also did their own. And all of us, the nation saw whatever we contributed. Yeah, but for me, I am not speaking on behalf of anybody. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my family. Okay, the relationship that ECL had with music was just amazing. Every musician wanted to go and just to have something to do with ECL. I think the public can testify to that. My tribute, it's like your father dies and then people want you to be so much active. Right? Yeah, so there are those that have come with songs we appreciate, those that are singing songs we appreciate. As God gives me strength, I'll be able to go in the studio and just do something. Yeah, but I can't promise. Yeah, so in my concluding remarks, I would say that I'm calling on all meaning Zambians and also all the youths to observe, dignity, to observe, peace, and just to emulate the former president He was a man that loved peace. He was a man that, loved people. He was a man that, had, so I urge all the youths to, all well-meaning youths in this country, to not, politicize this funeral. We have a lot to learn. We have a long way to go. And above all, in every state of, affairs that we may come into as a country, we need to look up to God. We are a Christian nation. We should not run away from those principles. At the end of the day, God has the final say in everything that happens. So we appreciate God for the gift He gave to this nation, a great gift in the name of Edgar Lungu, and at His own time He has allowed it. So nothing we can do. We just say thank you for also having accorded a time in my life to have, to have worked closely to the former president. What a blessing and what an honor. And so I'm grateful.
Abalelo balipolelo. Ndine kai.
Kalo kuti president anobwera. Ali kuti ma.
President.
Ali kuti.
Ndine wamene kai.
You don't believe that this is
president.
Okay. Manje ndine sister wa Mandela. Wa Mandela. From South.
Nelson Mandela.